Hey, you don't hear? Okay, let's see if we're going to work. I couldn't do a test on this live system because I
Hey,
could.
you don't hear?
Oh, that's loud enough.
Okay, let's see if we're going to work.
Let me turn
Live
it.
system because
I guess it's all right then. I just don't want to ruin my audio or anything. Doggone it! Now my laptop don't want to respawn. I'm having all kinds of trouble here, getting aggravating. My I need to get out of this. Getting that video feedback. I think I'm a little hot on the input here. Let me go back. Whoa, no, that's probably too much. But I'm worried about clipping. That looks a lot better. Yeah, that looks more like what I would normally have. So I'm doing this live because I couldn't listen to my preview. I'm in a live system. I'm a Fedora 28 live system that I'm going to install on the Lenovo i5 with, and I installed OBS Studio. In the previous video, what happened is something went wrong with the yeah, I think that's a good level. I mean, I'm kind of shooting from the hip now, but I think that's much better. That looks better. Okay. So I can't show you any cameras. I still have them running. They don't work in here. I don't know why. I did this on the ASRock and it worked perfectly. But so I don't have. Even though all the scene, I imported all my scenes and everything, and they're all there, but they're not working. So the desktop's not anything working. So what I want to do is just go ahead and install. But I've got so turned around. I guess I'm getting tired. I'm kind of eating a snack again right now, and I forgot. I tried to do the seamless switch, from the regular stream to the backup stream, but I forgot to start stream on this machine. It probably would have worked, but I needed a quick break anyway. But these cameras are just running, using up my Wi-Fi for nothing if I can't use them. So, yeah, it doesn't do any good to switch to any of them. They're just black screens. They're not picking up on here for some reason. I don't know why. It shouldn't matter. I mean, their IP addresses should still be the same. And this one, even if it got a different IP address, that shouldn't matter. I doubt it did, when I booted into the live system. So what I'll do, well, I'll tell you what, let me get this. Let's just click on the, I hope that the system can actually do the install, because once I did do a little video and then I deleted it, but I only have 217 megabyte, 0.6 megabyte of live virtual hard drive left, live system left. There was 600 and something or something like that before I installed OBS Studio. So I don't know. There's nothing in the trash. I already looked. So I don't see anything I can do to get any space back other than not using OBS Studio. So I'm going to try it because I've got a nice, live stream and everything, and I did hear my audio is working. That's all I really needed anyway, was the desktop video. So I'm going ahead and open up, what did I just click on? U3 system, that's part of my USB stick. What I want is install the hard drive. So we're going to open and install the hard drive, and I'll get this going, and then I can turn off my cameras and stuff. Instead, I started to do it right now because it was bugging me that they're running and not working. But I'm not on Wi-Fi anyway. I'm on wired. So, and I run them for I've run them 2, 3, 4 hours at a time doing my streams. So in Fedora 28, it's just like pretty much, it's going to be much like, I think there are some changes. I read a couple of articles about it recently. There are some changes in the installer. One of them being you don't set up I don't think you set up your root password. I don't think you even set up your regular user password in the installer. We'll see. You do it in the first boot. Excuse me, I was eating a cheese stick. Okay, so English, language English, United States for me. Continue at the bottom right there. Okay, keyboard, U.S., time and date, Chicago time zone, that's what I want. And the host name, I want to change that to, what do I usually do? I don't remember what it was before, but I'm going to make it Lenovo i5. I could say Fedora 28 or something, but when I'm with my host names, I want to know what machine it actually is. Lenovo i5. I'm not going to use a capital L for Lenovo because it's hard to type if I decide I want to type it for something. If you do that now, it's a lot easier. Oh, okay. Set his current host name and then go up there and hit done. Okay. Complete the items marked. Yeah, I was fixing to get to that. This one up here, the destination. Okay, now the 239 gigabyte, 250 gigabyte hard drive, 1.5 megabyte free, automatic, custom, advanced, custom. I don't want to use that Blibbit. I tried that out. I would like to make, but I'm going to do automatic, but I want to make additional space available because it's basically full. And I'm going to reformat the whole thing. I think this should be able to do it. Used to, I'd always use gparted to do this ahead of time, but this should be able to do it. It's the last time I tried doing it like this, it worked and did good. So I just got to make sure I'm paying attention. I've installed a couple of Fedoras lately, so they weren't, well, I did Fedora 27. Now this is 28, and I do know it's changed. Okay. Don't want to add a disk or anything. I do have my USB stick plugged in, and I don't want to format that, of course, because that's what I'm installing from. So you just got to make sure. But that says ATA 239, so my USB stick's 1.9 gigabytes, so I know it's not there, part of it. Okay, hit done. And it takes a little bit anyway normally, but since that's actually about like normal. I mean, even though I'm doing a lot of video off of here, I keep feeling a little worried that it's not working, but
It's actually about like normal.
it is. It's working. Okay, so I'm going to go really read through all this. You can remove existing file systems you no longer need to free up space. Removing a file system will permanently delete all of the data it contains. That's why I was so careful to make sure I backed up everything that I want to keep. There is also free space available in pre-existing file systems. While it is risky, and we recommend you back up your data first, you can recover that free disk space and make it available to the installation now. Free space, there's only one, it's 1.1 megabytes. That's not resizable. These others would be, NTFS and those. You could resize. There's really not. There's like 15 gigabytes or something left on my, the LVM that's not resizable. Anyway, I want to delete all right there because that's what I want. You got to kind of wait. Don't think it didn't work for the long years now. It says down there the installation requires a total of 6.75 gigabytes. But of course you couldn't use the system if you didn't have. Well, I put something like Fedora 24 or something like that on a 30 gigabyte, and that's just not enough. You don't you're going to fill it up in no time. You won't really be able to use it. So tried it with Windows 7 too on that same hard drive, and it's even worse. It filled it up faster. But I mean, you could get a buy and just make sure you don't install new stuff. And don't do much of anything, but just like get on the internet or something, read stuff. So anyway, I just realized now it says preserve all on that button I click. So this is not like a regular wizard where it gives you a next. You have to you really do have to pay attention to the subtle things that the screen is, that the buttons are doing. Because, okay, so it didn't really show me anything to tell me it did anything other than now the button says preserve all and it did say delete all. So, that would tell me, well, if I hit preserve all, it'll go back to delete all. So it's ready to I don't see any words changed anywhere. So I'm guessing by that. Like I said, I don't remember this particular screen exactly how it was last time, but I'm just guessing by the way this installer has been the last few years. That's probably means I'm ready to hit reclaim space. Okay, let's see. It'll take a little bit. Okay, see, now it didn't give me any errors. It didn't say I messed up. So it just says begin installation. Other than those odd little things, it is pretty simple, to do. Of course, if you had like that Windows installation, if you wanted to keep it, then you would have to do it differently and pay real attention to what you're doing there. It will help you do it, but so anyway, down in the bottom right, begin installation. Now it's just going to be doing it. It is going to let me put in my root password and all that stuff. So I'm going to put those in. And wait a minute. Will that be showing that? I don't think so. No. Okay, so I can do that in this video just fine. Okay, that worked. I need to start writing down. And so I don't know, maybe it's not doing what it might be depend on which. I think what, all that stuff I told you about, that's right, not being allowed to, or not asking, being allowed to, or whatever during the installer. I think that was with the Genome 3 desktop, the default desktop. And and I forgot, and they said it will differ with each desktop you choose. So now, when the regular user is going to be Don, and I just don't put in my whole name. I just put in capital DON for Don, and then it automatically says, okay, gives you the suggestion. You don't have to use that, lowercase Don, and that's how I do it. And that's simple, easy to type without, when you do need to type in your password. I don't like to make this username administrator. Then you get into all that using sudo and all that when you need root privileges, and I'd rather just leave it like this and then type SU for super user privileges, real root privileges, and that way when it asks for a password, you don't have to read it 4 times to say, okay, what do you want, root password or regular user password? If you use that whole sudo thing, then you've got to always be looking, and it gets really aggravating for me. So, and of course, I learned on Fedora Linux from Fedora 5 on up from before they started all that. So, of course, with Debian, well, with Debian you can do the same thing, but with Ubuntu, you gotta. I don't think it'll let you do it any other way. But anyway, so let me think. What am I gonna do? I want to change them from the last time, you know. Okay, and it still bugs the heck out of me. The done buttons up there in the top left. You know, OK buttons are done, or finish buttons are usually always like right here or to the right or even down on the bottom right, but way up there on the left. That's weird and backwards. You read left to right, and then you got to go back up to the left and start over again every time. I don't know why they do that. I mean, it just. So, yeah, see how fast it's going. Last time I did it on something, it got done before I could finish doing that. As a matter of fact, I was worried about turning those phones off and everything, stopping them from streaming into nothing, you know. It's maybe done before I know it. Okay. Now, I just stopped. I was making notes. Sorry. I just stopped talking and just said nothing about nothing. If I don't write some of these things down, right when I'm doing it, then I'll really get confused next time I look at my notes. Okay, so I think I'm got them set up and well enough now. I can be all right. Let me see how that stream is looking now. Pretty soon it'll. Yeah, it's doing it right now, installing bootloader. So as quick as this is, that sure was the most ridiculous to do about nothing. I was trying to make a fancy, switch from one stream to the other, and make it all seamless. It didn't work. And I was trying to not do any more, camera on the screen video than I had to, and I ended up doing it for a long time. I don't know what happened, but the ASRock the OBS Studio really just froze up. I couldn't shut it down. I had to kill it. And it still, I think, would have worked, but I forgot to start the backup stream. I got it all set up, but I didn't click Start Stream on here. And so it just, when I killed it over there, it just killed the stream. I was sitting there watching, is it going to work? Is it going to work? And, okay, so that's fast. I think, I said that last time, but I think this is even faster than Fedora, installing Fedora 27. Now successfully installed and ready for you to use. Go ahead and reboot the system. And when you hit quit, it just quits the installer. It used to reboot the system for you, which I didn't always like. Sometimes I would try to remember not to do that right away. Like, see, right now I'm making a video. So, okay, so well, since those cameras are running and that wasn't very long, now what machine am I gonna? Okay, I won't be able to stream from this one, and I don't have a camera that'll work. So, put this back on the desktop screencast. I just thought of something funny. What if I could plug in my webcam and have it work? I'm going to do it just to see. There it is. Let me plug it in. I don't know if there is a... Oh, well, no, I would have to add it to OBS Studio, right? I was going to say, I don't know if there's a webcam app, but I don't have any provision for the webcam in here. But let's see. Can you add one? I'm on desktop. I just noticed that. Okay, it's just a little behind what I'm doing there. I guess I must have switched or something. I was looking at my preview. Okay. Just going to call it webcam, and then I'll add a webcam to it if it sees it. Okay, let me look through all of them and make sure I don't mess up. I think I know which one, but... Video for Linux, VL2, yeah, the camera lit up. I think it's going to work. PC camera, looks like it's got its preset. Yeah, you can't change anything. Doesn't look like. So, you can see me. It's not a perfect aim, but it'll get better once the camera kind of warms up. Trying to think of where I want to put it. I think I'll leave it right there because, I could have added that to the desktop if I wanted. Oh, well, I could add desktop. Let's see. Because you don't want to make it full screen. It just looks like crap anyway. Screen capture. Yeah, that's it, I think. Say okay. Okay. Now put that up to the top. I think we should see it just fine. Now, okay. I did it. Now I'll get off there so that you won't just be seeing that video feedback. And it should work. And it's really kind of hard to make that camera re-aim. It's just setting up in my rack. So I'm not going to go to a lot of trouble on that. And it's still, I think it will probably, the colors will straighten out in a minute. Unless because it's very old and it used to do that just a little bit, but now it does it every time I turn it on for a good while. Not usually so long, but Anyway, I'm not going to, sit here trying to fix it. What I'm going to do, the reason I was doing that, I'll leave this setting like it is. Okay, now how am I going to do this? I got to get in my head what it is I'm going to do. Leave that just like it is. And, yeah, I can switch my screen now. And, see, it's pretty good in behind. Okay, now this is one of those times when it's further behind than I think it should be. So I'm going to reload my preview before I do anything else. What I'm going to do is boot up the ASRock and try to switch back to it. And then I can do whatever I need to do, like use the camera or whatever. Because when I reboot this machine, it's not going to have OBS Studio on it. This was installed in the live system, and it'll be gone, So I thought, well, I need try to use the ASRock again. So we'll see. Okay. Okay, so I just listened to my sound. Everything works. Now, switch to the ASRock. So you have to have my KVM switch on the ASRock to boot it up, or it won't get the right video size. I just shut it down a while ago whenever I had all that trouble. And I thought, well, it'll cool, my room will cool off, and it did. Feels good in here now. It was getting to feel a little warm. Not bad like the other day. Yeah, see, the camera finally quit making all those automatic effects there. And you can kind of work on it and make it look a little better, make the color a little more natural and stuff in the video for Linux settings. But, there's no point in me messing with that. I just thought that was something to make it. I didn't want to just, I thought, well, all I'm going to have while I'm doing this is the desktop background. And then I thought, well, see, that's only like 320 by... No, I think it'll do 640 by 480 max, but I'm not so sure if it actually... Last time I had that on, and this machine here actually, not so sure it actually would do that much. I think it wouldn't do more than 320 by something or something like that. But I think it'll do. Yeah, I think it will. It's supposed to do 640 by 480 maximum, and I used to use it that way. But it's still not even it's not even 720 what I've been doing with the cameras. I don't know what's going on with. Well, I don't know. I mean, I just installed. Let me get them. Installed the OBS in a live system. I've never done it before. I installed it, imported my profiles, and everything worked. Everything worked perfectly except for the cameras. So I don't know. And so I should be able to just open up OBS in the ASRock, and it's booted up now. So get it all set up. I should be able to open up OBS, turn it on as a backup stream, stop this stream, and use the camera while I reboot the system I just installed. That's why I thought I'd go ahead and do it. And so I've got OBS open. Let's see if it looks like the cameras are going to work in it. Looks like maybe I already have. Yeah, they're working, but they're not aimed. Okay, I forget. Yeah, because I couldn't see them. Okay, I got one of them aimed. Now, the one aiming at the screen, I have to go over there. Oh, I might not have to. Oh, let's use. I can use. See, I use the web browser to zoom it in, And that was what I was on for that whole time, and I guess that was too much. Well, why would that be too much for an 8 core with 8 gig of RAM? That just don't make sense. So, and like I said, it really doesn't sound like it runs quite right. I sure hope that that doesn't mean that. Of course, this is Fedora 27. I'm fixing to change it to Fedora 28, so that's one thing I'll hope is that it runs better on Fedora 28. But I sure hope that doesn't mean that I'm going to have trouble. I think I'm just going to be able to, the camera's still close enough. It's a little lower than it was, but it does that. It kind of starts sagging over time. Yeah, okay. So when this is the only since I started using OBS on it, that's the only time I've seen it. Well, this started acting funny, you know, and even when it is acting funny even when I'm not running OBS, so that's what's kind of odd about it. So I went to my live stream. I can look at it on this machine for a second. See what it looks like. I can actually make it full screen and everything. So, oh, it started at the beginning of it. Huh. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I was on videos, that's why. That might not even have been the same video. I might have clicked on the wrong one. I meant to go to live dashboard. Now I see myself doing my thing. And so, yeah, the only thing.
Oh, I was on videos, that's why.
Huh. On this machine.
I meant to go to live dashboard.
On this machine, I see. I just see. I see a black background in my camera, and on my laptop, I see the back. You know. Oh, I turned on the audio and it went away, or I guess it was a coincidence. So for some reason, the stream stopped showing the background from the desktop. I don't know if that's a bad sign. I'm running out of space on it or something. I better hurry. Probably is what it is. So let's get out of here. Get over here and switch to make sure I'm on the backup profile. And I'm thinking that my audio should be okay. It has been. So, oh, I don't have that plugged in, so I'll need to turn on wireless. The wireless. Is that on? Now it's on. Okay. So now I've got wireless mic, and then I can just switch if I want to. What am I going to want? Desktop screencast? No, I think I want the camera too. The thing that might block the darn thing up. Okay, so it could help if I don't have it. Yeah, it shows feedback when it's on its own self, so I'll get it off of the. I'll put it in the system monitor and get back over here on the live new install of Fedora 28 on the Lenovo i5. Drop my stick. Yeah, running that webcam was definitely something I wouldn't want to do for long. I don't know why I lost the background, but it's okay. I'm going to stop it now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, how will I do this? You know what? This is completely a live system. Well, it might be better if I hit stop stream, because I don't know if, like, you know, rebooting it and losing it that way, what that might do, whether it would stop it from recovering. Now, if I messed up, I'll be gone. But if I did it right, then, okay, now my background's back up again. I don't know what was going on there. Okay, so if I stay on that background screen instead of the control interface, then you know you won't see all that feedback. Although it kind of looks cool with that webcam picture, it all matches. Anyway, yeah, I guess I can look again. Let's look again, but before I do it, I'll look. I thought maybe it was getting ready to lock up. That's why I was trying to really hurry. Okay, so I thought I clicked start streaming already, but I thought I did, but it's not doing it. So, but I do have audio, and I see my preview. Start streaming. Oh, now it's working. Okay, so now I'm doing my backup stream. I don't know. I really thought I clicked it. Good thing I checked again, huh? Or I would have been in the same shape. And I am recording as well. So on the camera. So now you'll see a camera view, of when I reboot. Okay. Now. Yeah, I think I'll do it. I think I will just stop the stream because I could just reboot and you would see the, desktop of me rebooting and then it would just switch. That's why I kind of want to do that, but I also don't know if that would. In theory, that's what it's for. That's what the backup stream is for. But I do know for sure whenever I hit stop stream, that does work. So I think I'll do it that way to be safer. So let's go ahead and stop this stream. And yeah, I'll be switching to the wireless mic too because I don't have the... I'll go ahead and do the plugging of the mic though. Okay. Now we should be switching over to the... Okay, yeah, still got a signal there. Now we should be switching over to camera from ASRock. And I want to make sure it is still working before I... Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, yeah, I can see it right before I stopped it, and I hear myself. Okay, so we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and hook up my SM58 first before I do the reboot, I guess. It's a little bit tricky to realize what I'm doing here. Okay, so what I'll do... Yeah, I'll get over here. Because, yeah, you're still going to see what the camera sees. Okay, so let me switch my mics. You won't be hearing any loud bangs or anything in the video because I'm using the wireless mic right now. So I should. I've got my SM58. SM58. Looks good. Looks good. Let's make sure that the audio inputs are good. Audio inputs are good. It's still doing that floating thing. Yeah, I think that's all right. Yeah, I think that's all right. Okay, check one. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't want it any hotter than that. I wouldn't want it any hotter than that. Now, now, leave it just like it is. Leave it just like it is. Oh, I've got two mics. Sorry about that. Now, I knew there was something I was forgetting. Okay, now we've only got one mic. And I bet if I click on my sound, I'll hear those two mics for a minute. Okay, check one. Yeah, check one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Leave it just like it is. Okay, well, it's going to be a while till it catches up. All right, but I can see I have a good signal and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here to the okay, now the new installation is done on the Fedora 28 on the Lenovo i5, and it's ready to reboot. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if I had somebody to edit all this for me so we could be all the junk could be cut out later? I'm never going to get around to it. I've given up on saying that I'm going to do it. All right, we're going to restart, and I don't see my screen that I'm on yet. Wait, I'm going to wait on it. Okay, yeah, I think it's finally catching up.
The installation is done.
Yeah, okay, everything's good. Okay, so shutdown, restart. Oh wait, I should have hit shutdown. It's going to boot back up to that USB stick. Should have done shutdown. I don't want to damage the USB stick, so I think I'll let it boot back up and then shut it down. I do that so often. Okay. Yeah, okay, it's in that screen, but what I can do is hard shut down the machine. Oh, I need to take out the camera too. Okay, now I've got my stick USB. Oh, I didn't turn it back on. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, it rebooted somehow. Well, it's booting back up into Fedora 28, I think. I wasn't paying attention. I don't know what happened there. Maybe I did hit this. Maybe I hit it once and then hit it again. Okay, now I'll watch the screen as it boots up. See if there's any errors jumping out. I missed the first part of it. I was in the middle of putting my cap. I thought I didn't think it was going to be booting back up. I thought I hard shut it down. It was going to be down. I'm not so sure if I didn't unplug that stuff while it was still booting or something. I don't know what I did. I guess in the video I might figure it out later. Anyway, it should be okay. I mean, if it's a FAT32 on your USB stick, a lot of times you can damage it when you do that. But with this Fedora setup, it's ext4, and oh, how weird. That is different. ext4, the little logon screen is a translucent thing on the left instead of in the center like normal, but it says Don, and it's waiting for my password. It's kind of cool looking. And let's see, what did I give it? Okay. But it had the appearance of like the Genome 3 desktop, and I was like, what? Okay, so there we go. I may go right ahead and install OBS Studio again. Funny thing is, installing OBS Studio installs the RPM Fusion repos for you, so you're all ready to go with that. Let's see, we don't have a system monitor or we don't have the one I like. We can look at it though. So here we go. And it opened right up to the graphic user interface. So it's got four cores. It's using 970. It's just 1 gig of RAM, right around 1 gig. I guess it's doing that because, since I'm running this kind of a heavy using app, of 3.8 gigabytes, and there's the internet, the network data. 556 updates, and that is one of the first things I want to do. But I mean, it might be okay now because I noticed the updates work pretty good, and I'm always grappling about DNF Dragora, but the updater is pretty good. But the very first update, it's all well. It kind of always gave you that advice, and I didn't always follow it, and I got hung up. But if you'll just type DNF space update in the terminal, get root privileges. Do your first update that way, and then you will, even if you have a problem, you'll get to see, it'll tell you what's going on, and you won't be in the dark trying to figure it out. So I'm not going to, those are all jumbled up, and I'm not going to bother with them right now. So Fedora 28, oh yeah, I don't have, I want to install OBS so I can really show you. Fedora 28, 64-bit, made desktop, and so on and so on. So I'm going to just close that again now. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do OBS Studio like I was saying. I don't know how long that ASRock can do the camera thing like it did before. Oh, I need this. I'm going to put in my little SD card again because it has the profiles I'll need. And I saved that page with the commands and everything. So, as soon as, yeah, that's booted up. So, I'll just open up Firefox here. So I can get it all like that. I won't have to search it on Google or anything. And, so I got lots of work to do to get this all set up the way I want it, but got to have my menu bar. How can you do file open if you don't have your menu bar? Okay, and 32 gigabyte SD card, downloads, and let's organize it by the newest on top. There it is. So I'll just open that page off my little SD card, and that way I can do it. Yeah, there we go. Fedora installation unofficial. Well, it worked. Okay, so let's open up the terminal. Get rid of that pocket thing. I hate those things bugging me. Don't you want to do this? Don't you want to do that? Okay. SU for sudo or super user privilege, not sudo. SU for super user privileges, not sudo. And what's that password? Okay, I got that. Now then, I'm just going to leave the sudo off, and I'm going to copy the command to install the RPM Fusion repos. Let's just move this over to the next desktop because I want to make it bigger so it can be seen a little better, especially since it's in the camera view. Just did this an hour ago, I guess. Okay, do you want to do all that? I'm not going to go into details since you can't read them or anything anyway. And just let it install that. So that part's done. And now then, let's go get the install command for then install OBS. Oops, DNF install OBS dash studio, just like I thought. All that trouble I had, well, I couldn't find it because it wasn't in those repos, but it is OBS dash studio. It's DNF space install space OBS dash studio dash. Yeah, I always forget what you call those things sometimes. Different, like underscore dash, whatever. I think there's another word that a lot of people use for dash. We grew up in school; they taught us dash. Typing school or writing school or whatever, you know, when we were back in the 60s and 70s. There's another name I commonly see, maybe a more proper, I don't know if it'd be any more proper name for it, but so yeah, I guess it must have been, does it tell you how much the total? Looks like the total's only 89 megabytes, so I don't know why I ran out of took up so much space. It didn't stop me though. I was able to install OBS Studio and the Fedora 28 live system and run it, use it, and use a webcam. and do my install. You know, well, I didn't have the webcam plugged until after the install was over. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't tax this machine that much. Now the ASRock, which, you know, some things are acting up. Well, luckily I'm going to be reformatting it. We'll see if it runs better on Fedora 28. If it still has trouble, then I'm going to have to redraw the drawing board. We call it, go back to plan 1, or I don't have a plan B. Well, I have a plan B, actually I do, and that's to get a new motherboard, but I really hate to have to do that. Because my mom doesn't want to spend a bunch of money on the system. We've spent about $250, I think, so far, which is really cheap to end up with an 8-core. But that's because we already had the brand new 650-watt power supply, well, a year old or something. Okay, so that's installed. Let's go back and look. Now, I did not install any NVIDIA driver. I can't. Let's see. I don't think, yeah, this is just an onboard chip, and even if it's an NVIDIA chip, I don't think that would probably, I don't think it could do anything, you know. That's good to have that, though. Okay, what's the other thing? I was just wondering, do I want to close all this or what? Well, this thing is, you know, let's see. Now, this is not the one where you can say save output as. But I'm going to go ahead. This is an installed system, so I can start, you know, doing my notes and things that I like to do. I don't have any of my cool programs yet. It's kind of funny when you click on the desktop. I don't know if it's taking its time or if it didn't take. But when you click on the desktop icons, usually a lot of times they just don't work. Let's see. Yeah, see there how quick that opened up. Documents. New folder. Let's see. Fedora 28. Lenovo i5 info. There we go. Now, I gotta have a program. Well, I don't know. Oh yeah, this is not on. I keep thinking this is a live system. It's not a live system anymore. So I can open up what I need to do my work. Okay. Oh, that looks different. I don't realize how far behind my versions of everything is, because I've been running Fedora 23. Okay, there we go. Let's go back to the top. If I can. Come on, go back to the top, please. I can't get it to drag. Oh, it's because I don't have the right thing. There's some little arrow thing there, and I thought it was the deal. They're so narrow anyway, you can't hardly get a hold of them. Okay, DNF install OBS Studio. How am I going to do that? Yeah, this way. There we go, that's good enough. That's all I wanted. Commands to install OBS Studio. Now, I'm not going to run too much stuff at one time. Now, I think I'll close this terminal and I'll do it again, because I want a clean terminal for when I do my updates. Okay. Well, first, I'm going to open up OBS. And get it going so I can start streaming from this. So I'm doing the same thing again. Do I want to run the wizard? No. I wonder if I should have done that. I wonder if that's why the cameras didn't work. Last time I did. Let's open it up again and see if it asks me again. No. How do you get to that wizard? I'm going to run it this time. Well, the last time, though, it... Now let's don't run the wizard. You can. It said on there you can run it later at any time. So I'm going to import profile from the 32 gigabyte. Everything was there. I want profile. Yeah. Okay. Got to pay attention to which one you should be. Oh yeah. I want primary and then backup. And then there's that other one. That does say Lenovo i5. They all say Lenovo i5. Okay. Import. Forgot which one I did. I should have done them in, top to bottom. I think I did primary first. Okay. Let's look and see. So I have backup and primary. Okay. Now I'm going to import that other one just to, what if one doesn't work and the other one does, since I had trouble last time. Profiles. Now I'm going to import that one there. That was my, that's just, should be the same thing, just not with renamed like that. But we'll see. Okay, now. What am I going to want? Oh, I'm going to want it to be I'm going to be using the backup stream. And that's what I'm going to try to do, is use the backup stream and switch like the fancy way. Okay. And let's see, OBS Studio again. And the scenes is just the one thing. Okay, then you switch to the scene that you just imported, and just like before, the cameras don't work. Now what I wonder is if a reboot would cause them to work. I don't see why. Sometimes things like that do work, rebooting. Maybe the program's not really going to be functioning completely right until it's rebooted, So I guess I'll try that. It's kind of my best guess as to what I might be able to do. But yeah, I'm not going to have any, I can plug in the mic like I did before, but I won't have any sound or anything. I won't have the music either, but I won't worry about that right now. And the profile that I want, I'll just leave it on the backup one for now, because that is the one I want to try and use. But it all works seamlessly other than the camera's not working. And unless, well, see, even if I couldn't use camera 2 because it's being used already, but I don't remember seeing that happen before, I should be able to use camera 1 because it's not being used. But I don't think there's any restrictions on being able to, let's look at the settings, on being able to pick up the cameras, with different sources at the same time. I do need to make me a folder. So let's go ahead and make a folder for the videos. Now it won't give me it won't squawk me. What happened? Oh, I guess I did close that. What happened? Oh. Why is this over here in my third? It wasn't. It made me think it was over there in the other. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of go on the idea, since these profiles were made on this same machine, and now, the layout's going to be the same. Last time I was in a live user, so there was no such thing as Home Don. This time there is a Home Don, so that all seemed to work. Everything that in those settings looks good. I don't see the hotkeys. I don't see them at all. So it may not have all worked. You know, where you can hit, well, you don't see them. There's no camera showing up either. Well, I don't know. It may not have all worked. I don't know why it wouldn't have. See, I didn't change anything, did I? No. So I'm going to hit cancel. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is close it, reboot the system, and see if that, I need to take that out of there first or it'll boot to that. But I will be doing my first update here in a minute. That's going to what I'm going to do. Then that may be all I do today on this. Okay, I don't have the any of my shortcuts. Okay, restart. Now we should be, of course, as long as my camera is working on there and everything, which it looks like it is on my preview, then we should be able to just watch this very blurry camera view of it rebooting and everything.
I will be doing my...
It seems like my audio is a little louder than normal. Well, I did turn it up on the... Turn it up on the laptop a while ago. Probably just had it turned up too much. Okay, so go ahead and watch the terminal window while it boots again. I wasn't paying attention again. I'm distracted by my stream preview, you know, trying to make sure everything's okay. Okay, there we go. I think it boots up pretty fast. I think the thing that makes them boot slower is when you start adding a bunch of apps, like I always do. Because most of them do boot pretty quick. Most of the Fedora distros boot pretty quick. And for the last, I don't know when I started noticing. I think maybe, I don't know if it's 23, 24, or something like that when I started noticing that. Hey, that's booting pretty fast. They started working on that years ago. They wanted to make them boot fast. Now, everything kind of moved. Oh, these are all on lock to panel. That's why. I always unlock them, and they generally stay where I put them. Once in a while they move around if something goes kind of wonky, but I hope I don't forget. Well, it won't hurt, but if I click on Thunderbird's not set up yet, you know. But okay, so now I'm going to open OBS Studio again and see if it acts any different. All I really need is the desktop again anyway, so if I can just get the desktop working, then it'd be okay for right now, and then I'll figure out what's going on later. Huh. I don't know. Something must not have imported properly. Maybe this is yet a newer, although the ones I exported were from my really old version, and they work perfectly in the newer version. That's the desktop, and of course the endoscope's not going to do anything. And I don't have it in my sound files for the ones that play out with audio, so they won't do anything. But I can do desktop. I can't do desktop on wireless mic because I don't know why. But what I'll do then, let's do it like this. Yeah, I've got it set for backup OBS. Okay, let's try this other profile though, since last time I didn't have it to try. Still no cameras. I didn't think it would make any difference. So backup OBS and then leave that like it is, because the other one, the one that came with it, has nothing in it. Yeah, it's empty. So desktop, and then Actually, I already kind of saw in the live version where to put the input. It doesn't want to be way up there, about right in there. I'll leave it open though so I can change it. I'll put it over there. Okay. Put it right in the middle so I can see it. Oh, no, I need it over there so I can see it. If I keep it here, then I can see it and see the, actually what the good thing to do is do that so you just didn't drive your eyes crazy. So I can see it while I adjust it. I may not need to now, but, okay, so now it's on backup. Now here's what I'm going to try to do. Now I might lose myself again, and we'll see. But I'm going to, well, let's go ahead and open up this file manager here. Get into videos so I can see that a video is being made. But actually I can do a test. Let's do a quick test. Okay. Well, we're not going to have any audio though. But I can at least see that it's making a video. So that's good enough. I'll just, oh, I don't have anything to play. This is what happened in the live system. And it said, do you want to install that H.264? And I said install, and it didn't work. I'll wait till after my updates and everything. So I'm going to hit start streaming as a backup. Yep, it's a backup. And then then I can kill this stream over there, and it should bring up the desktop stream over here if it works right. That's the down and dirty way to do it for sure. But you can't hear me anyway, can you? Okay. Suppose there's no sound. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm going to stop this stream. Oh. It won't stop. All right. Let's see if I have audio over there. Okay, I do have audio. And it looks like it. No, I think it's good. Check 1, check 2. Yeah. Okay. Go back over there. And I imagine it's silent right now. probably talking to myself, but I do that pretty well. So, okay. Let's see what OBS does if I try to close it. And it just says it's not responding. Force quit away. Okay, now we should be. I'm going to shut down the ASRock. I suppose you can hear me by now, because if my backup stream started working, that is. Okay. Here I am back on the Lenovo i5. Hopefully, yes.
It's not responding. Force quit away. Okay, now it should be
Much louder when I'm on the Lenovo i5. I mean,
Shutdown ASRock. Suppose you
okay. Let's see. Is it? No, I think it's okay. I was going to say, is it too loud? Am I clipping? It's kind of borderline to where it's clipping. Okay. Yeah, when you're jumping from one machine to the other, you're not going to get exactly the same. Whoops, audio. I probably am a little. This Fedora 28 is a little different, and the gesture's a little different. So I'm going to go down a little more. It's really hard to move too. It doesn't respond well there. That's probably more like it. Check 1, 2. Okay, hey. I don't know, a little less. Hey, hey, hey. Clipping is terrible on, yeah, I think that's much better. Clipping is very bad on digital recordings, so.
it's a little different.
Yeah, I think that's better.
The gesture's a little different.
Because it's still pretty loud on that laptop even after I turned it down some. Yeah, I think that's much better. I guess if you think about it, that the icon was wider, you know. It wasn't a little teardrop with a point on it. So in a way, that's pretty much in the same place. Okay, so we're back on our desktop video on the Lenovo i5. Everything doesn't work. Everything I imported doesn't work. None of the cameras work, right? Even after I shut down the, well, it ain't finished shutting down yet, but well, that wouldn't make any difference whatsoever. So I don't, you know, the ASRock is still on its way to shutting down, but it doesn't get a lock on the Wi-Fi camera. You know, that's just not possible. So, yeah, I've been doing this the last few days, and when I was already running it on, you know, OBS Studio and the Lenovo 5, I could turn on the ASRock, and I could use the cameras on either machine. You know, I don't know. I'd ever tried. Actually, I probably did and wasn't thinking about it. I probably did use the cameras on the same. My screen went black on my laptop. And I thought, anyway, I'm going to reload that preview. And I'm sitting here on the screen with the video feedback just because I wanted to make sure everything was working. So what I was going to show earlier was the messed up. I tried to click the audio, and I clicked the back in the, I clicked on the video bar, you know, and it went back to like when I was installing. So okay, so open up the Mate system monitor. Now I can actually show it, and I couldn't see anything there worth a doodly. Yep, doodly's a word. Doodly dandy, no, Yankee Doodle Dandy. That was a song. Okay, let's see. Trying to get just the right, you know, size. I don't know if I hope it stays there. I think it may go back every time you close the app. There's going to be some that have longer names though. Okay, so if we go by CPU, OBS is the one using the most, 84%. Ooh. Memory, that looks like it needs a little more space. And what I don't like is no matter what you do, can't get it to separate right there, and that just makes it hard to read. I usually just go ahead and go by the one using the most memory now, and then because the CPU, see, turns out they're both the same. Yeah, it works out pretty good. And the system now is, let me make sure my audio is good and everything. Yeah, okay. So the system now is, you already read it, didn't you? The Lenovo i5, Fedora 28, 64-bit. The kernel is 4.16.3.so-and-so, made desktop. 3.7 gigabytes of memory, Intel Core i5, 2400, 2.5 gigahertz. It's not too bad. It's pretty good speed on the processor. Available disk space 206 gigabytes. So yeah, after reformatting, now we got plenty of space, and that was my big problem on this machine, is not having enough space. And so right now, well, it takes a little bit for the graph to come across, but we're staying right around 25%, a little more, on each CPU. As all I'm doing is running OBS and System Monitor. 1.3 gigabyte of memory. That's might be about a 0.3 or so jump, or a little more, from Fedora 23, or well, maybe even, I don't know. I don't remember what 27 did. Network. So I always leave it on here because I don't have the searcher where I can quickly see. There's another one that I like. I'll have to install it. What I'll do is build up my install scripts and run them and everything. I'll probably make a new group install script from the Fedora 28. Run those group list commands and then make me a group install script. And then I may go ahead and run a script from my list of my Fedora 23 system. But in a way, maybe I might not want to do that because there may be some 10 or so apps that I really don't want on here that didn't work too well or whatever. That's the thing about doing that is, I tried a lot of things that I didn't like so much, or they didn't even work, and they'll be installing them again if I do that. But if I'm sitting here if I do my group installs and all that, and I'm still like, where's that app? What's the name of it? But I can't find it, then I may give in and just do it the other way. But let's see. First thing I want to do, and instead of going here and using the graphic, that's the DNF update graphic, the DNF drag or update notifier. I can click on that and do the updates there. And sometimes when that's running, it hangs up and you can't use DNF in the command line. But let's see. So I'm going to do SU. Like I said, that's the way I like to do it. I didn't set this user up as an administrator, and so anytime it asks for a password, it's always going to be. There might be one time in 1,000 where it might actually some odd application might be really asking for the regular user password, but 99.999% of the time it's going to be looking for root password. So let's type that in there. I have to be careful when you're in the terminal, because if I forget, if I'm not paying attention and I think it's asking for the password, and I type it in there and I'm showing it, when I'm making a video. Okay, DNF update. Now this way, it tells you what's going on. If there's errors of some strange sort, you'll see it, and you can know what's going on, and it'll give you suggestions on how to fix it. That's the best thing about it. Okay, so it's going to be a gigabyte of updates, yes, and it's going to take a little while. Install 17 package, upgrade 555 packages. I wonder what it's installing. Maybe. No, I don't think so. It could be the reason that my cameras aren't working. You know what? Okay, I don't have VLC Media Player installed on here. And I don't know if this is going to do that for me, but that would be a dependency, I guess, for OBS Studio. That's how it brings in it brings in a VLC stream. So even if it doesn't need VLC Media Player, it needs those codecs. That's why I kept thinking, well, what about the FL, the Flash Video codecs? Actually, I don't know what IP. I don't know what. You know what? IP webcam. Yes, I do know what IP webcam is streaming. I set it up. MP4s, I believe. And Fedora doesn't play MP4s by default, so I don't have the media codecs. That's why my camera stuff is blank. And the reason it worked on the ASRock is because I already had all that. I already had all that stuff installed. I bet you, because I had VNC. If you install VNC, you're probably going to get the basic. You're going to get the basic codecs, like MP4, FLV, and stuff like that. Yeah. So just by installing VLC, the dependencies are going to be the codecs for that stuff. So that's what I need to do. Is I think that'll fix it. I don't think it's got anything to do with the settings in the program. The only one thing that I did notice, and I don't want to go through it while I'm streaming, I might mess things up. But the one thing I did notice is it didn't look like my keyboard shortcuts were there, from my profile. And again, it could be that some of that stuff didn't import right. And this is I don't know if I can look and see what version. Well, let's don't do that right now. The version is probably a little newer than the one from Fedora 27, just a little bit newer. And so that's probably, yeah. So as I might want to make a note to myself about that. But
that's probably.
I'm going checking my sound.
So as I might want to make a note to myself about that.
It's changing back and forth between machines that I stream from makes me the volume on my laptop. I have to turn it up and down and stuff. And okay, yeah, transaction check. It's like, it's not done already, is it? It sure downloaded those quick though, didn't it? That was nice. Well, a gigabyte, yeah, a gigabyte. Okay. Like when I download, ISOs for installation or something. Let's see. Lenovo, i5, Fedora 28. Install. I'm writing it down. I don't know if it matters, if I'm right. But for OBS camera streams, there we go. Do group install, group list command. I'll have to go find the commands again. I have an article that had all the commands and showed you all the different ways to do it, and build a script, install script. I was in the middle of getting ready to do that on Mom's, but then I got to thinking on Mom's Fedora 27. But now I don't know. She doesn't need like an eighth of not even an eighth of what I have. She just needs about 25 apps maybe, or sets of software. And of course I don't need them, but I usually end up with 2,500. I probably didn't have that many on this Lenovo i5 because I was running out of space for one thing. But I like to have them on my machine that I'm using all the time, because there's been a lot of times when I would have to go boot up that Fedora 14 machine because I didn't have apps on here and that I wanted, and so I would just use the older version on there, and some of them are not even available anymore. And so I'm really pretty excited about the idea of that article I read about being able to run older and newer apps on your system, on this Fedora 28 system, because if I can get that set up and working good, I'm not quite sure exactly how you do it. If all you got to do is just like plug in the old Fedora, say all the way, if it'll do it all the way back to the Fedora. It may only go back like to say Fedora 23 or something like that or whatever. But anyway, plug in the archive repos and install this. I remember there was some commands to install the software to make that work, and then it would. I think it put them in containers. Yeah, it did. So your older apps would be in containers, and they would run in containers, and separated from your main operating system. And I don't know if it containerized your whole system or just the older stuff, separate from your newer system. But anyway, whatever way it does, if it's not like a mind-boggling thing of command line work and maintenance especially, I mean, even if it was kind of hard to do at the beginning, I might do it if it was all right, simple to use after it was set up. I know I was looking at Fedora Atomic, and it was pretty serious stuff. It's brand new, and it's all containerized stuff, and but you can run a desktop, a server, all different things, within the same box, the same system, but they could be separated. And I can't remember, there's the different types of containers they use and all, but Docker, you could run Docker in it. Docker's a containerized or a container system. I don't know, I'm not super knowledgeable about all of it, but I've been reading about it and watching a few videos too, trying to learn. Anyway, you can run Docker and like a container for Docker, the way I gathered it in Fedora Automatic. Not automatic. I called it automatic for the longest time until I realized it doesn't say automatic, it says atomic in Fedora Atomic. But right now, Fedora Atomic, I don't know if it has like any graphic user apps to help you use it. It's all like get in the command line and follow the instructions, So I didn't start. I kind of looked at it right before all this junk happened with the malware. So of course I haven't even thought about trying it now. So it's installing some security Java stuff up there. Oh, what does it say? Warning, lib user Java so-and-so, so-and-so, OpenJDK, security, so-and-so, restored. So whatever it was, it fixed it. Something about security in the OpenJDK. Sometimes it might be an SC Linux context, or it might be, I don't see anything that says SE Linux though, but it restored. Oh, I think it went back to an older version. No? It went by now. I don't know. But see, that's one good reason to save your command line output when you're doing pretty much anything, because you just might find you might find out you need to go back there and look through that and find the reports, the errors, the notices, and for me, half the time it's just I can go back there just to find those commands again, because when I find commands that do something and I can't remember them, I'll look in my little folder with all my notes, all my command line output and different notes, and I'll have anything from web pages I saved to text files, or sometimes I just let them be open office files, but usually I save these as text files because then you can copy and paste them. Should have done that with that other one. You can copy them. It won't corrupt, it won't reformat anything. It'll just be exactly the way you see it in the screen, and then you can copy and paste from there. Because if you copy and paste from a open office file, you run the. I think it usually works, but you never know. Like for instance, if you copy and paste from an open office file to a Thunderbird email, you will get formatting problems. You'll get all these strange characters and everything. So you definitely don't want that when you're copying commands into the terminal. So as a rule, I try to remember to save my terminal output as just a plain text file. I'm starting to get hungry now. I'm drinking my coffee like it's food. I had my, I brought me two little, they call it string cheese. It's mozzarella cheese in a little round stick. and I ate one, and with some cashews. Or at the beginning of all this, is a while ago, or a couple of 3 hours ago now. Feels like it was 3 hours ago, and that held me off for a while. And then I started feeling hungry again, so I ate the other one. I went in and brought two, and just ate one. And so I ate the other one at the beginning of this installation here of Fedora 28, and now I'm really starting to get hungry. So that's all over. I need my supper. What time is it? It's 100 degrees in Fort Worth anyway. That's what my laptop's telling me. Oh, it's 3:39. Yeah, well, since how I got up at about 4:30 again today, that should be about right for me to be ready to eat supper. Guess I can pause that preview until I need it again. I was thinking, yeah, I can't show anything but the desktop, which is really, I mean, that's great really right now. If I did have the camera, I'd switch over to it and show myself jabbering, or I can just jabber while you watch the command line, or you can just skip ahead if it's not live anymore after the live video is over. But skip ahead and make sure see how the updates turned out, or you can skip the whole rest of it, I guess. But you know, if you don't know how to do any of this, it's you definitely be worth watching the parts that help you. You know. It's on 440 something out of 1128, so I mean, it's not halfway through yet, but it's going pretty fast. Now it's already 453, 54, 55. I can almost count them. Sometimes they go really fast, sometimes they're a bit slow. Right now it's upgrading. That's what's good. It really helps you to learn how the system works. That's one reason it's really good to do this. It's at some points anyway. And if I can't get around this DNF Dragora and how pain in the butt it is to use, then I may start doing a lot more in the command line. I might have to just start saving commands and getting them organized even more than I was just talking about. And because if you know the commands, it's so simple, and it really is simple and quick, you know, to do. But there's a lot of things, like, say, for instance, you want to, what can I think of? You want to install KDE Desktop. And so you find the commands to install the KDE Desktop. But there's a whole lot more to it than that. Go look up KDE Desktop, and well, if you looked it up in like Yum Extender or something, where it would really bring you up the proper result, everything that's available, you know, like the results I would expect. You're going to see all of the add-ons, all of the dependencies. You're going to see the icon libraries and all these different things that you may or may not want. You won't even know they exist if you just know the basic command to install KDE Desktop or Genome or whatever, you know. I've been thinking about it. I do want to install another desktop, but I used to always install, well, it used to be Genome 2 and KDE. And then when they retired Genome 2, went to Genome 3, and then Mate came up as a fork of Genome 2. I've been using Mate. So then I would install Mate and KDE. But KDE does install, if you install the full everything, then it does install the full desktop. Then it installs, I was trying to think. There's a couple of apps that'll put in your startup that compete, you know, Mate and KDE are competing with each other to control that process, and you'll end up having to figure it out and turn off like me, I turn off the KDE so that, you know, Mate, I just want the Mate apps to do it, but and it's not a real big deal, and actually I'm trying to think, maybe it's not really a problem exactly, but there is but if you have Genome 3 and Mate, those are both, you know, Mate still uses a whole lot of Genome apps, right? So if you have Genome 3 and Mate, you'll have duplicates of most of your startups, and one of them, and they'll compete and they'll mess up with each other, and you won't like see a bunch of errors, but you'll have, for one thing, you get too many things running, duplicates, So I used, once in a while I did let, I would just do my main installation from the Fedora, the default Fedora Genome 3 install. They call it Fedora Workstation. I would just install from that and then build from there. And thinking that, well, it'd be a good backup desktop. And most of all, I thought, well, that'll give me all my Genome apps that I want. Well, it gives you that. Problem is you duplicate too many things. So I don't install Genome 3 at all anymore. Now I'm starting to lose my voice. All of a sudden. Well, that definitely means it's getting time to quit. Now we're up to 600 and something. Gonna have to get me a cough drop or a lot of times when I get to this point, I just go ahead and, stop the video and come back and just tell what happened. I may end up having to do that if I can't talk anymore for sure. I am hungry. By the way, my fancy switching from one stream to a backup stream worked twice in this video, I think, if I remember right. And I had to kill, so it kind of simulates what they're really for is when you have a problem. I did have a problem, and that dang ASRock is still sitting over there running. Luckily, I'm cool, but it didn't shut down properly. But I had to kill, OBS. I couldn't. The control interface was just locked up, even though it was still streaming. And so I had to kill OBS Studio, and when I did it, it just automatically switched to the backup stream I had running. Got to remember to start your backup stream. Don't just set it up. Turn it on. Did that. But anyway, let me go. Let's see. You'll still see the same thing, but I'm gonna switch my KVM switch and see what's going on. See if I can even see anything there. It rebooted, that's why. I must have slipped my mouse and clicked on, or my brain slipped. It rebooted and the video was like all tiny and weird. That machine does not, if it doesn't see the real monitor, it doesn't get the right size of video. So now it should shut down. Yeah, there we go. I've only got one machine that can do that, and I think the reason it can, but my, I call it what did I call it? The red-black BioStar. Has a BioStar motherboard, and it's red and black when the lights are on. Same box as Mom's ASRock. It has a video card with a DVI output, and that's what I'm using on it is the DVI output. It has DVI and VGA, and I think it might have, I don't think it has this video. It doesn't have HDMI, it just has DVI, D, and VGA. I think that maybe that is all it has. Anyway, I have this monitor. It has, a VGA input and a DVI. So the KVM switch is a VGA, and it's on the VGA, and then the DVI goes to just that one machine. And then I have to mash buttons on the monitor to get to it. But it, I guess because it's plugged straight into the monitor instead of that VGA KVM switch, it sees the monitor even if it's not active, is what I'm trying to say. And so it boots up, everything's fine, the right size and everything. The other ones, if I'm not on that machine on the KVM switch, it'll be the wrong size. And usually well, it depends on the operating system, I guess. Some of them you'll have to reboot to get it right, and some of them you can just jump into the settings and fix it. Some of them, the 1080p, 1080 by whatever, is not even there in the list. If it, I guess it sees the KVM switch is pretty old. It's old. there were no, well, I guess there was such a thing as a, a LCD monitor, but they were not widescreen. They were all square, and they weren't near as high resolution when this thing was made. This switch, it's a good switch. I paid about $100 for it, but it's old, now. Now, where are we at? We're getting there. We're 980 something. It's cleaning up, so it's already installed, and we're getting there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm checking my sound and I don't hear anything. I don't like that. That could be bad. Maybe if I reboot it or something, reload that page. Maybe I didn't click it right or something. I'm checking it on the laptop, It should be all right.
Maybe I didn't click it right or something.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Can hear me smacking my cough drop. I didn't realize I was doing that so loud. This mic, it's really picking up good. It depends on, I like the way I have it, but I have to pay more attention. I like the way I have the gain and everything set. Because then if I move a little bit away, it still picks, it doesn't, I don't fade in and out so really badly, And I do turn my head, back and forth a lot. But it also makes it more live and pick up a lot easier and the lower, the quieter sounds. Okay, we're right there. We're 1128 of 1128. My mouse is in the wrong place. It's up there, making something show up. Oh, and by the way, the DNF Dragor didn't have a lock on Yum. I guess as long as you don't, if you click on it and open the window, then I think that's when you get in that situation to where once you've done that, and even if you just don't say do the updates, it still puts a lock on not Yum but DNF. And then when you open up, if you do say, well, no, I don't want to do it in the graphic like I did once or twice, and you open up your terminal and you type DNF anything, it says can't because something else has a lock on it. So you can usually you can just right click on the app, the icon, and say close, but you don't, obviously here you don't have to if you haven't opened it up. That's what from what I remember in my recent experience with it, that evidently is the case. I know one time it happened, and I ended up having to force close it. It wouldn't close, the DNF Dragora app. I had to use my system monitor and close it. Is what I did. Okay, now it's going through verifying everything. It really checks. It's a good system. It makes sure it doesn't just install stuff, but it verifies it at the end to make sure it's all there and should all work. You don't get a whole lot of, especially with updates. That's really good. But you don't get a whole lot of problems when you install anything or update from the Fedora or the Debian repos. You will have some problems here. Usually there's always some kind of a headache when you install stuff from, not always, but I don't know. I guess it's 50-50 chance you're going to have a headache if you install something that's not in the repos, that even though it's built to run on Fedora. Okay, it's done. And there's no errors or anything. And I think this particular terminal will have saved it all. I'm not going to roll to the top because it's going to be really long. I'm going to say edit, select all, copy, just go back Open up LibreOffice again. Well, those colors are they're kind of neat looking. It was always, I guess it was always kind of a little more bland and just more green. Something that made me notice it. I mean, it's a change that made me notice it. Now I'm going to put that in there. And yeah, that right there throws me off. I always think that's the bar that I need to grab. That's not. Okay. Yep, see, it's all the way from the very first command. All right. This time I'm going to say DNF update command. First run 28. Let's put the date in there. 06 27 18. And I'm going to say text this time. Last time I forgot to do that. We use the text format, not ODF. And it did pre-select text, so that's good. I think it always, on the older versions, it used to pre-select use ODF. So, see, now you can go through here and either just to learn or just to check or just to diagnose problems. And luckily I didn't have any problems. So I was fixing to say I can reboot now. That would be the first thing I'd want to do, but I'm going to close this terminal now. But let's see, since I'm doing a live desktop, of course my desktop video will go away when I do that. And I don't think the camera will be working now because I didn't, yeah, there's no VLC that's been installed yet. See, I haven't installed any of that. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm too tired. All I want to do right now, I just want to go eat. I'm going to quit for the day. Let's see, it didn't install any new apps. It did install some stuff, but I imagine there were dependencies for some of the upgrades or something. I don't know. It just struck me. I was like, well, why would it be installing new apps? But for some reason it did. But you can see the basic app list. It looks, I didn't look for it before, but here it is. And basic app list is just real basic. I'm glad that they started using Thunderbird instead of that Claws mail. I never did use it because I didn't care for it too much. That Hex Chat, I don't think I've ever tried it out. I have to look at that sometime. I think what it is you can use like all, Yahoo. It's probably the one that does more than one service. That's what I'm pretty sure it does. So yeah, only thing I've installed is OBS, and if there was any updates for it, then it would have been installed just now when I did my updates. That's why I went ahead. Well, of course I did it mostly because I want to be able to stream while I was doing my work, but that's also a benefit there. Install it first and then do your updates. Normally I would do my first updates before I did anything else, but since I wanted to do video, I did it that way. I figured it would be fine. Blivet GUI. Don't tell me they got that instead of Pardon Magic. They sure do. That's a partition editor. And I tried using it and it didn't work. Oh, there's Gparted, not Parted Magic. Gparted. Still have Gparted. I'm not going to open any of this stuff up right now. There's the basic Fedora 28 Mate desktop. Your apps that you get will be a little different with each desktop. And I do like a lot of KDE apps, so I'll see. I may end up just installing the full KDE desktop with all of it. There's a bunch of system apps that come with it. I used to always use just to try to stick with all the Genome apps because they usually work better with Genome too. And now it's been years, since they retired Genome 2. But Mate has grown, and so it has its own apps, and then it still uses a lot of the Genome 2 apps that it upgraded, and I think maybe it's kind of, there's a bunch of there's some Genome 3 apps that are just for the desktop, that sound interesting, but they weren't available they wouldn't work in Mate before. I think some of them actually do now. I really just pay attention to the ones that I've been using. Well, I do like to check into new things, but mostly I pay attention to the ones I've been using all these years, I don't use a heck of a lot of, like, on the panel. So if you add the panel, there's a lot of little things in here that I've noticed there's a few more than there used to be, but I don't use a lot of these. I like that shutdown button. I really like that, so I put that up there. I like to add that separator. Well, I'll add a separator. See on the left of that, and it'll separate these so that they don't get mixed up. If something goes kind of haywire, they won't at least these won't end up over in here. Now, I don't know why that's way over there. It should be over here. I'll probably go ahead and move it and see if it'll stay. You can lock it to the panel, but then when, like, say if you lock that divider to the panel, then it'll make this jump. When things go wrong, this will jump out of here and end up in here. So I don't lock that. I think that's the reason I don't lock that either, because this grows. It gets bigger and smaller, this right here, when different things are going on, like when notices the time is not set right for me. I'll do that later. I can't remember how to do it. I think you just do that and then, maybe edit. Oh, that's the location, the weather. Always turn that stuff on. Well, I'm right there. So I want miles per hour, Fahrenheit. I want Hazel, Texas is not in there. Now, Fort Worth, Texas, Naval Air Station, Meacham, Spinks. I still can't remember where Spinks is. It might actually be closer. I know it's a little country airport. Alliance, it's way too far away. To me, the Naval Air Station, Meacham, they're about 50-50 distance. I think this is probably closer and more the weather-wise. I think I would be closer in my temperature. Spinks might actually be. I can't remember if that's over in Arlington, further away, or if it's closer over here out in the country. Anyway, Central Time, latitude. Okay, good. Yeah, America, Chicago. And, okay, now here we go. 12 hour. That's what I want. Show the date. I don't want the seconds. Week numbers. I guess that's all right. Weather, temperature. Yeah, I like it like that. 102. Didn't realize it had gone up. It's 100 over there on the other one. It must be getting it from a different airport. 102 at the Naval Air Station. Used to be Carswell Air Force Base. That updater is still showing, but I think it'll go away. Well, unless there's some more already. But I'll leave that like that. I haven't got well, there's a lot of things that I put up here normally that aren't even installed yet. There we go. Runs really good on here. Not a problem at all. It's, super responsive and everything. And see, that's why it's really troubling me about that 8-core running sluggish. And now I know for sure there's something wrong because the OBS is, look how well it runs on here. OBS is not running good on that. So it may be that, I only scanned it. I scanned it once, but I did it basically in rescue mode. I booted to Fedora Live System and then installed Clam AV and then scanned it, and actually had nothing that showed up. But it runs funny as if, there's something wrong. Either a malware got to it, or there's something wrong with, like, the software and hardware aren't working good together, which is a very real thing with that, because it could be that motherboard is just not really working right with that 8300 8-core CPU. I thought I already ran some benchmarks on it, and it got good tests. I'll have to try that again. I remember finding one application that could run benchmarks, in Linux application that could run benchmarks. I think I already did that. Matter of fact, I think it was on Parted Magic. I mean, yeah, I think it's in Parted Magic, but I think maybe I could install it, like in Fedora. I might have already done that. Really, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, a lot of work trying to figure it out on that Fedora 27 because I just want to reformat it as quick as I can. But first, I have to get this up to where it can be my daily user. I got to get enough set up on here for that. The basic stuff, web browsing, playing videos, of course, and already got OBS on here now, so I'm ready to stream. I'm doing it. That's actually pretty easy. I mean, I did it in the live system, did it again in the new one. And as long as it's not a real pain to get the cameras working again, I got a feeling all I need is those codecs. I think it's the codecs for the VLC streams because those cameras they pick up the cameras are sending out a VLC stream, and I'm pretty sure it's MP4. And I think the reason nothing's happening in the camera here when I click on camera like that is because there's no MP4 codecs installed on here. So I wrote myself notes for that. So that should be putting my notes kind of back in a better order, putting them together. Okay, that should be all I need to do to make that work. I'll find out tomorrow. Okay, I'm tired. I'm going to go get some supper and relax. Let's see. I don't think I can watch. It makes me think. I don't think YouTube will work on here until I. Let's see if I just, go to YouTube. Definitely don't have. Yeah, see, I've got all this junk in here I don't want. Let's just try going to YouTube. See if it looks like it'll even play a video. I may have to install like the basic player or something. I was watching this one the other day. First I thought it was just crap.
Which
ads.
extra virgin olive oil is available pretty much everywhere and gets fancy chefs like this guy real.
Oh, I forgot about. There we go. It's not a fake video or anything. Those guys, they dig out a pool and they use bricks to make a real base for it and everything. So it works. That's all I want to know is did the video work. Yeah. I remember just as that ad started playing, oh yeah, I certainly don't want this long video to get flagged for, me playing someone. I don't know. I've never really done it. Ever since they started getting so picky about copyright stuff, I just don't play other people's videos in my live stream because I don't know what YouTube automatic system would do to me, I know that one of my videos when I was working on my truck in 2009, I turned on the radio for a while. People used to do that all the time. I have the radio playing in the background. And I kind of knew they were, that was probably going to be something that was going to happen because they were starting with that music copyright stuff. And sure enough, they flagged it, and then it made that whole section of the video silent. And what was really ridiculous about it is I had turned, I didn't know, I was just guessing, and I turned the radio up fairly loud and I was using a condenser mic hanging up in the back of the Blazer, my 76 Chevy Blazer, and I turned the radio up fairly loud because I wanted people to be able to hear what the song was, and it distorted it so bad you couldn't hardly tell what it was, but it was still by the machines, the Google machines, the YouTube machines. They not only could tell that it was that it was music, but they could tell the artist and everything just by that sound. Distorted sound, and it said on there, it said good news or something. If this is your cover version of this song, then you can leave it in here, and not have a copyright strike and not anyway, and I was, well, I'm not going to sit there and lie. Me playing the radio is not me singing the song, you know. I mean, I do singing and recording of myself, and I give my stuff away. I mean, I'd love for somebody to want to buy a CD, but nobody ever has. But I got it on my website, but DonsSongs.com, by the way. But you can download them for free. But anyway, so I did a thing on the editor back when they had the YouTube video editor where you could, I edited that section out, is what I did. And because I didn't like having that. It said, well, you're not in bad, but you do have in some countries, they won't allow this video to be played. That's what it said. And so, but now the YouTube editor's gone, so I don't know. I haven't looked at that video in a long time. But anyway, going in circles. But and the reason I'm thinking about it is because I actually messed up. I had a whole week's worth of videos that I never did get around to editing, and finally I just uploaded them to Google Photos. And I let them automatically upload them from a Windows system, and then I transferred them over to YouTube. But I made the mistake of right before I did that. I set a default. What did I put? I guess I just put Don Bishop or something in the default. It didn't say video name, it said title or something. They changed the way they worded things, and I didn't catch on, and I thought it was just like a separate section in the video, you know, not the name of the video that shows up. And so, yeah, it just said like Don Bishop or Don Bishop video or something, and it was about 100 videos, and I didn't realize what was happening because I hadn't been uploading any videos, and so I've transferred all those over there, and every one of those videos had the same exact name, and so they get no views whatsoever because they just show up as the same, you know, Don Bishop. And other than the icon being a little different, well, not very, because they're all about that Blazer. And me working on the wheel bearings was the biggest part of it, so it all looks the same. So even if somebody might be interested, you know, it all looks the same. So I need to delete it, and I can't just upload new ones because the system recognizes it's the same video whether the name's different or not. So I fixed it, you know, right after that. And so I need to delete every one of those videos and then re-upload them again. And I think it took me 2 or 3 days because it didn't work well. You can't do but so many at a time, and my system could only handle doing about 40 of them at a time. And I didn't know that at first, and I tried to do them all, you know. So, and then you can't automatically organize them. You know, you can't do them by, used to you could, or I put them in playlists, and used to you could organize them by ABCs. Now it's only like upload date, published date, and so on, or manual, or, you know, there's several different ways, but none of them work. What would make the perfect sense is alphabetical order. And then they would, because I named them. Back then I was really careful about naming all my videos in alphabetical order, and like those videos I gave them I don't know if it's at the beginning or the end, but like I'd say 01, 02, 03, so I'd know for sure what order they went in. I used to always do that. Now I don't. I just let as long as I keep doing more as I upload them, you know, like my live videos, of course they just say Don Bishop live video, and my other ones, when I make them, it's usually whatever default name, like the date and some random numbers that the phone or application gives it. OBS Studio gives random, I think it says vid or video. I think it just says vid and then random numbers. Well, I think I had that a little short test video in here. Yeah, OBS, see, 2018, the date, and then 06, 27, and then some. They're not random numbers, they're in a sequence, I think. Well, they might be 16, 13, 25, 16, 14, 32. They're kind of in a sequence, but they're also seem random to my brain. So I've let that get away from me. I have not renamed but very few of them. So I don't know what any of them are. But since I started making a lot of videos, ever since I started with OBS Studio, it's easier to just make live videos, you know, than to make some videos and then edit them and do all that stuff. So I've let all that get away from me. But as I upload them to YouTube, I always change the title. And these backup videos, if I need them, then I can really only kind of go by the date to find them. And I have to just start watching them and see. Oh yeah, one of these, I guess, is being made right now, isn't it? You can't see and hear the size or anything. There we go. 1.2 gigabyte. That should be the one that I'm making right now, I guess. Don't see it growing, but I guess you would. Okay, so on another sidetrack, can't play my. Well, all I can do is play my titles out, but I can't. No music. I don't have any music on the system yet or anything. But there we go. That's a lot easier to install Fedora 28 than it was to make the video of it. But I did it all anyway. So tomorrow I will. I guess what I'll be doing is. I shouldn't say what I'll be doing, but what I'm hoping to be doing is. I shouldn't say what I'll be doing because it never works out. What I'm hoping to be doing is, you know, installing apps on the system and everything. Got my first update and got OBS in there. And of course, well, one of the first things that I want to figure out is how to make the cameras work and all that. I think I'll probably just start the desktop video like I have going right now and then show whatever it is I have to do to make it work. I might just try installing VLC, and there are some codecs you can just install in Linux. There's not codec packs, but you can just start searching for video codec, audio codec, and you'll find them and you can install them. Of course, if I just install from a list from my last system, they'd get installed. But again, I might get some apps I don't really want to. I'll be thinking about it between today and tomorrow, because it really is easy, a lot easier to build a script and then just install 100 or 1,000 apps than it is to install 20. Trying to, especially the way DNF Dragoa works, how it doesn't work. The search, that's one thing. The way how hard that is to find anything, the things you know are there, and you know what you're looking for. Of course, with OBS, it wasn't there, and so I griped about that for nothing. But there are every other thing I've tried to find. It was pain. It was there once I finally found it. So I'm gonna go and. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I'm actually getting 30 frames per second for a change. It's something, I think that the new, okay, so on here, it's fine. 30 frames per second. CPU usage is right there. It's not too bad. I think that it must monitor the CPU and everything. And if it's having trouble, then it drops the frames per second to keep from losing the video altogether. But I never once saw anywhere near 30 frames per second. The most I ever saw was like 18 or something like that on the ASRock, and it should be the opposite, Maybe I don't have. Maybe it doesn't have the right drivers for the GPU, the graphic card installed. It does have an older graphics card, but it's a real graphics card. It's a 512 megabytes, and this thing only has 256 megabytes of onboard graphics, but they are newer. But so Fedora Fedora drops the like automatic find and install for older hardware little by little, you know. And that one is it is older graphics card on that ASRock. That's the one that I bought and put in there with the dual core, processor and everything, and the other motherboard, the BioStar motherboard. Several years ago, what, 5 years ago or more? So anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm starting to get to work, can't talk now, so I guess I really better go. Okay, see you later. Bye.